I'm stepping into the world of Dota 2, excited to learn the ins and outs of the game. I'm ready to master the mechanics and climb the ranks to see how far I can get. The first thing I did was a tutorial, which from my experience in League of Legends, I kind of already knew the basic mechanics. Right click to move, purchase stuff from the shop, follow the creeps into lane and destroy the towers. I then learned a bit about movement by using the blink dagger, which reminded me a lot of Flash, but with a much longer range, and teleportation that lets you buy scrolls from the shop and can be used every 80 seconds. Something that took me a while to understand how it works was the courier, but after playing around with it, I figured out that the only button I needed to press to get things delivered was this one, or F3. Then, after learning about consumables and playing around with the hero demo, I was ready to have my first taste of the arena. I was going to pick the hero I'd learnt in the demo, but I forgot to lock her in, so the other team picked her. So in the end, I went with the Dragon Knight. I chose the middle lane and learnt a lot about the hero's abilities. I then practiced what I'd learnt and ordered some potions from the shop and got my courier to deliver them. Here's my first epic kill in Dota 2.
The dragon waits.
I don't know what I did, but I did something. And my first death. Something I learned was buying back into the game, which costs a lot but can be necessary in some situations. But yeah, I won the game as it was way too easy. Now, on to the second part of the tutorial. But wait, 462, what? What the hell is this? Nearly 500 euros for a skin. People are mad. The things I learned in the second part of the tutorial was mid-game jungle farming, how to use vision wards, team fight initiation, a bunch of status effects like stuns, silences, roots, and disarmed. Then I killed this big boy called Roshan that drops an item which is used to revive yourself. I was then told to read the glossary. Reading? We don't do that here. Then, it was time to grab some popcorn, sit back and spectate some of the pros to see if I could learn something from them. Here is some of the action that happened during that match. And yeah, I didn't really know what was going on. So it was now time for part 3 of the tutorial. I started by improving my last hitting. Here are the different tiers based on how well you do, from bronze at 600 points to diamond at 3600 points. My first attempt didn't go too well, but I swapped heroes and saw an improvement. My goal here was to get at least gold, which meant learning how to deny creeps, something I hadn't been doing. So after doing some research, I had to press the A button before attacking my own creep. This would give me a deny, improving my score, but I was still only getting silver, so I chose one of the faster attacking heroes, and finally got gold. I then learned how to use invisibility detection methods like a ward or dust, stacking jungle camps, and also pulling them into lane to freeze and control it. After that, there is an option to get coached in Dota 2, which would surely improve my learning experience, right?
Dragon waits.
Oh my god, bro.
Oh, hell no, man. What the fuck, man? Get your ass on.
I quickly browsed the game's items, played a game against the AI, and finally, I had to play a game with a friend. A friend? Now, on to the final part of the tutorial, where I'd become a true Dota 2 professional, starting off with customizing my profile page, which is sure to give me an edge in the arena. I visited the shard shop and bought myself a relic for Mr. Dragon Knight. After that, I learned how to dodge abilities in many different ways, time abilities to catch moving enemies, something about advanced items which I didn't understand, Then I used a couple of items, starting with the Black King bar, which gives you immunity and enemy spells don't affect me, and the Glimmer cape that grants you invisibility and aids you in your escape. Now, the time had finally come. Was I ready for the challenge? Did this tutorial do its job? Well, let's find out as I played my first real game of Dota 2. I insta-locked my Dragon Knight and I was placed on the Dire team. I started the game by spending all that I could on the basic items and consumables. My lane phase was going to be quite annoying because I had this ability thrown at me all the time and its range and width were quite big, making it difficult to dodge. I got pretty low and made my first courier order of the game. It felt great having a waiter bring you all your items. After having a few items, I felt confident enough to engage in a fight, but that was a mistake and it led to the enemy getting first blood. Here's my first death of the game. And as you can see, Mr. Ricky here was getting way out of control. I did, however, manage to roam mid lane to stop his push, and if only I had listened to the tutorial, I would have bought some dust to detect invisibility, so unfortunately, he got away. When the mid game arrived, I started farming the jungle, which I was told to do, but things weren't looking too good. Until we managed to shut him down and end his kill streak. As the game went on, I got a lot stronger and we started to win more team fights.
Your bottom tower is under attack.
It got to a point where I could survive Mr. Ricky's attacks. The only problem was the split push, and this guy absolutely destroyed me. Towards the end of the game, I had to defend our base. But after that, we were able to push them back and head straight into their base to win the game.
Your bottom barracks has fallen down.